The In-Laws, Part 1. A story by E.B.'s Heart. You are cordially invited to my daughter's wedding, F's mother said over the phone to one of their guests. She has been on the phone for the past 3 hours, inviting everyone on her contact list. This wedding will be the talk of the town, she boasted. The whole state and even the entire country will hear that my daughter F is walking majestically into one of the richest families in the country. Who would have thought that I will be in-laws with the popular Okeson family? God, you did this one for me, she said and started dancing. Mommy, it's Bishop Umo, he wants to speak to you, F's only sister, E said while rushing to their mother. My daddy, Mrs. Beek hailed Bishop Umo on the phone. My daddy, sorry, I was on the phone inviting guests. You know how it is, she said laughing. Bishop Umo cut her short. Okeson family wants your daughter to spend the weekend with them. They told me, they want to get to know her before the wedding. Is that all? Mrs. Beek said, giggling on the phone. She will be there immediately, she assured Bishop Umo and hung up. Bishop Umo is a very close friend of the popular and one of the richest families in the country, the Okeson family. He has been the one finding wives for them. Bishop Umo knows the kind of family they marry from, so Mrs. Beek and her daughter fit properly. The Okeson family marries a new wife every 5 years. It is a tradition, where the wife comes in and gives birth to male child within that 5 years. Every wife must give up his first male child as sacrifice for the growth of wealth and connections of the Okeson family. Honey, I don't like the fact that this family have been using you to wreck the lives of these innocent women and their families. Bishop Umo's wife said with a frown. Which innocent family? Is it those people that will jump at anything that is rich? You know Okeson family have been very good us. The church you are priding yourself now as Mommy Go, was built by them. Their donations have been very huge too, so finding wives for them is just a simple thing to do for our great benefactor. Bishop Umo said angrily and left his wife's presence. Finding a wife, or you mean sacrificing young women? Bishop Umo's wife said and shook her head. F got to the Okeson's family estate. They have a very big estate where only the Okeson family live. They don't allow outsiders within or around the estate. F gasped when she came down from the car that brought her. She ran towards the backyard, giggling like a schoolgirl. So this will be my home very soon. Her husband-to-be then came out and took her hands. She was so happy and was bowing respectfully to everyone she sees. They showed her a room, with a lot of servants at her beck and call. This is your room, ma'am, the servant said respectfully. Wow! F exclaimed excitedly. You mean this is all mine? She kept giggling. After a while, she took her phone and dialed her mommy's number. Mommy, you won't believe how beautiful this place is. We have arrived. These people are super rich. F's mother kept smiling all through the call. The Okeson's family bought a brand new car for F's parents, and a beautiful home in the heart of the city for them too. They opened a filling station for her dad. Things were so soft and rosy for them. Their status changed for the better. Her only brother was sponsored to study in Canada. Hello Daddy, F was on the phone with their bishop who was also the matchmaker. Are you listening? Bishop Umo asked F for the 3rd time. I am Daddy, she replied. As you are in Okeson family, please behave yourself. Take note of this instructions that I will give you now. Number 1, do whatever you are asked to do, even if it seems odd and not so good for you. 2, do not ask them any questions, whether you understand or not, just agree. 3, you must never tell anybody, not even your mother, whatever you see, hear, or told to do in this your short visit. He then laughed and told her to calm down, that nothing will happen, because he was just passing the Lord's message to her. F thought the bishop's advice was odd, but since he said if I don't follow it through, I might lose all this, then I must do as he said. After all, he can never deceive me. He is a real man of God. The next day of her visit, F was taken round the whole estate. She was introduced to almost every member of the Okeson family. They all gave an obvious fake smiles. She didn't care, after all, she is almost an Okeson family member. At night, a dinner was had to honor her visit. After the dinner, She was so tired and tipsy because she had a lot to drink. She slept off immediately she got into her room. It was around midnight when she came in. Immediately she slept, he came in and performed some ritual and laid with her. She felt something was happening to her, but she couldn't wake up. Apparently, she was drugged so that the ritual can be successfully done. Everything went as planned. She will be leaving today. Uncle Babs was on the phone with Bishop Umo. I am sure she didn't notice anything, because we drugged her. We don't want the former incident to repeat itself. In case she asks you anything, you know what to say. Uncle Babs concluded and hung up. Uncle Babs is the oldest Okasan family member. He never married and will not marry. He had lived for so long, and from the stories, he is the main source of their wealth. He looked like a 50-year-old man, but from the stories too, he started the Okasan family. And their family can be traced back to several centuries ago, making them the wealthiest and the most connected, both in government and the economic aspect of the country and the world. Some persons wonder why they marry from the lowest class in the social radar every 5 years, with the loudest celebration that would be attended by who is who in the country. Others believe they are simply humble and highly religious. Uncle Babs sleeps with the would-be wife 2 weeks before the wedding. The wife will then bear a son, who would become the sacrifice. The son that will be sacrificed must be fathered by Uncle Babs. And he would be dedicated to Fora at 1 year old. Fora is an unseen god worshipped by the Okasan family. They have built churches and gifted to so many pastors, including Bishop Umo. Yet they neither worship God nor attend the churches, except when they want to take a new wife. Those pastors will now be recruiting new and young wives from poor and greedy families for their sons to marry, and be prolonging and increasing their family's wealth. The young wives are expected to give birth to 4 more sons within 6 years. If they fail to do so, they would be killed in a hunting sport that the Okasan family regularly organized. And when they are killed, she becomes their meal. Bishop Umo knows all this information, yet he always matchmake for the Okosans. F was all smiles and glittery as she walked down the aisle to meet her groom. Her father was holding her hand as they both walked up to the altar. Victor Okasan, her groom, a boy of 19 years old, looked at her smiling too. Bishop Umo began the ceremony, and soon everyone was on their way to the international hotel owned by the Okosans for reception. Everything was grand. Presidents of countries attended as well as almost all the dignitaries in almost all works of life within the country were in attendance too. 4 weeks after the wedding, F, who had been feeling sick, was confirmed pregnant. She was so happy and broke the news to her husband. They were all congratulating her, unknown to her that they already know, because she was carrying their precious male child. That would be given to Fora. When F's son turned 1 year old, F was invited for initiation. She never knew what that meant. Uncle Babs told her that her son belonged to Fora. How do you mean belongs to Fora? Who is Fora? She asked frantically. She was asking when her son fell from her hand and turned into a statue. She screamed but no sound came out. Your son have served its purpose in Okasan family. You will now birth more sons that will continue Okasan lineage. Uncle Babs continue with his rituals as if nothing happened. F was numb and scared. She couldn't believe she wasn't dreaming. She went into her room, took her phone to call her mother immediately, but a hand took the phone from her. She turned to behold a beautiful middle-aged lady that she have not seen before, sitting beside her bed. My name is Moki. I am the oldest female Okasan. You cannot tell anyone what you have seen here, else they will all be killed by Fora. Now listen to me carefully, you must make more sons, you are still young after all. You see, Okasan family rarely birth daughters, because we believe they may not be able to keep our secret. I and a few others that dead are the only female Okosans. But we do not get married, only the males do. We can have anything we desire in our lifetime, but not husbands or kids. That is our own sacrifice as female Okosans. All I can tell you for now is this: try as much as possible to birth 4 more sons. Because they might be your savior. Every rich family have a very deep and dirty secret that binds them. This is ours. Welcome to the Okasan family. F was still in shock when she walked out of her door. I must be dreaming, she muttered to herself.